Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for coming back to another broadcast over here at the Ellis Network. Now, really quick, in the last day, the two videos that I put out was talking about Russia and Syria, and talked about how the United States is going back and forth with them regarding Idlib. I understand. I think yesterday I pronounced it wrong or something like that, and I'm probably still pronouncing it wrong even today. It is what it is. I'm sorry, but y'all know what I'm talking about. From what we know now. Okay, we know that Russia and Syria, they're in the Providence. They have moved military equipment just southeast, I believe it is, of the city. And they're getting ready to liberate it from, extremists and jihadists and terrorist organizations that actually held it captured. Now, the problem with this is everyone's considering it, this is going to be a bloodbath within, the Providence, within the city. They're talking about, it's a big humanitarian crisis. We already know what's been going on. We know what has happened. We know the possibilities of what could happen. Whether or not, Bashar al-Assad's gassing his own people, or if it's a false flag for United States intervention. And you guys remember the last one, America, we was teamed up with, I think it was the UK. And, man, I don't know. I'd have to go back. We did that strike that lasted a few hours that night. Anyways, so we're collectively taking information as we're getting it, because again, we're expecting a showdown here very soon. And whether or not you're a religious follower, and in some religions, mainly Christianity, they're really paying attention to what's going on in the Middle East, because this stuff has been prophesied throughout the Bible. The destruction of Damascus, the third bringing of the temple in Jerusalem becoming the home of Israel again. That was a big prophecy. And everything else that they're seeing, there's a lot of YouTubers that take current event news that talk like we do, but they also put their biblical prophecy to use on that thing. So, we've been talking about we know towards the end there's going to be another World War III, and everyone's talking about that this may be the flashpoint for that. And we've been saying that for a few years. We all know it's all pretty much going to happen in the Middle East. The Middle East has been a mess. It always has been. I'm 33 years old, and the Middle East has never seen peace. Everyone's always like, peace in the Middle East. What the fuck is that? That just sounds like a dream. So anyways, really quick, I want to talk to you guys about something that I just found out. And again, this is not stuff that's being talked on mainstream media. We're not talking about Syria and the possibility of being drawn into a war and the possibility of millions losing their lives. We'll bring it up after the fact that it has happened, to get everyone to feel bad about it. And again, we know in the past, President Trump, he won't stand for that, and he'll use that as a measure to, intervene. And the only way you can really intervene is when you get the okay from the public. But anyways, I want to talk to you guys about another thing. Russia, we've known that Russia's got 300,000 troops on the move. A lot of people's talking about, war games. And we know, he has all the two major Navy fleets that's sitting there in the Mediterranean. And don't forget the thing that's going on in Ukraine right now, with the death of the rebel leader over there that was Russian. There's a lot of military equipment from Russia that's moving closer to Ukraine. There's coming out that United States is funneling weapons and equipment to Ukraine. So, we have, that could be a showdown as well if it gets hairy. But I really believe that it's all going to happen, in Syria. Syria will be the flashpoint before Ukraine takes off. I seriously think that if it happens in Syria, guarantee something's going to happen in Ukraine. Because all bets are off the table at that point. But again, one thing I want to bring to you guys that I, again, just recently found out, I had no freaking clue, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us wouldn't have clue unless you type in these words. Whether or not you're on Google, your search bar, or you're just looking for any piece of information. Because, I can sit here and say one thing, but, same as me. I'll get on some of these YouTube channels and I'll listen to them and I'll go to the description. Sort of like what I do, I post my facts and my articles to the description of the video, and there's no articles. So that's, that's one thing, as in like false flag. Maybe someone's lying, maybe they're just fear-mongering. I like to call fear-mongering. So I take the extra step, I close out of YouTube, I open up my browser, I go to my search engine, whatever it may be, and I start typing in keywords. And I search that way. Next thing you know, bam, voila, there it is. China is now moving its troops. They have a, well, I don't know if they actually have troops on the ground, but there is talks that China is now in Pakistan and Afghanistan, and they are helping Afghanistan build a battalion. Now, some of you guys may be like, you know what, that's cool, that's not a bad deal. Maybe they're there to help out. And, I'm silver linings, guys. Silver linings. Okay, I always focus on the silver linings here instead of the negativity. But one really makes you wonder. We already know China, America, and Russia are the three major superpowers in this world. We already know everything that's been going on between Russia and the United States. The bickering back and forth, the elections, and, the Democratic parties calling Russia, Russia-phobe and Russia-gate and all this other crap. And then we also know about what's been going on with President Trump and China, with tariffs and everything all about that. And China and Russia has always been a very, very close ally. They've always had, things, hand in hand. Well, with all the recent events that's getting ready to go down, it only makes me wonder if China is actually in the region to, in fact, if they get ready to do this and the United States does follow through on everything it said it does, and if it follows suit with history and from what we've seen in the past within the last year and a half, that if anything goes down, we will strike into Syria. Well, you also have, Iran. They're there helping Syria. You have Israel. We brought out that Israel's been doing unannounced, airstrikes in Syria. If you guys remember yesterday morning or the night before, I believe it was, inside Damascus, they had that major explosion. And at first, a lot of reports were coming out saying it, the IDF, the Israel Defense Federation, I think it is, they are the ones that were, responsible for it. And then Syria comes out, within an hour or two and say, wait, no, it was an electrical fire that caused the big explosion. And we brought out that video, really makes me wonder if maybe Israel did it, but they don't want to acknowledge that because it would actually, raise more tension than what Syria's already got going on. But like I said, they're getting ready to do a counterattack onto the Providence over there, and they don't want any more stress, any more heat brought to the area than what's already going to be there. But like I said, now China's getting involved in Pakistan and Afghanistan. They're saying, I believe it was 4 days ago, there was an article. As soon as you type this in, guys, and you hit the news section, you get all these different news articles. And you can go back to, when it was posted, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago. One day China said, we have no ties, no troops in the area. And then the next day, it starts to change. They're starting to talk like they have, political reasons to be in and humanitarian reasons to be in the area. So it's sort of like they backtracked on the whole idea of, or like, no, we're not involved in that situation at all, as compared to the next day they're like, well, maybe a little. I mean, there's just a lot of things to consider here, guys. And another reason that makes me really uneasy, that if this happens to become a regional conflict, how easy it could get these major superpowers intertwined with each other. And I really think if anything was to really pop off, guys, China is going to be there to help Russia. That's a gimme. And then we're going to have Syria to deal with, and Iran, and we already know what's been going on with Iran and the United States, with the nuclear deal that Obama has put into place and Trump is backing out of, and just the rhetoric all around the region. Our allies are being attacked by Israel. If you look at the shit that they've been dealing with Palestinians, with all Hamas, shooting off the rockets from the Gaza Strip. So I mean, you have a lot of things going on over there, guys, and it's really coming to a head, a focal point. And I really hope that these articles are lies. Because, like I said, if anything pops down and America does come out and say, even when we promised that we was going to strike with, the UK and all of them on the last one, Russia sat back. Everyone sat back and just let it happen. And Russia's come out after that and said, you're not going to do that again. We're not going to allow it. And seeing all the military equipment being moved to the region and all this troop movement, and maybe they could say that, hey, you know what, we're playing war games with China. Well, that very well could be, but also they're expecting a confrontation with the United States. I said that yesterday, and the message that Russia was giving its citizens was to, let them know of a possible direct confrontation with the United States. So again, guys, it raises a lot of eyebrows, making a lot of people wonder what's really going on over there. We know that the truth that we are given to us is very watered down, very misled, and just, they expect us to believe every little word that comes out of their mouth. And again, mainstream media is not putting it out there. Not even a lot of the mainstream internet sites publishing is not really putting it out there as well. So you really have to start relying on your keywords in your searches to find this out. So I'm going to go ahead and post at least one article for you guys in the description, just so you guys can understand that, yes, there is a discussion going on with China being in Pakistan and Afghanistan with the United States. And then you take everything else that we've talked about within the last 2 days, what we know, the possibilities of war breaking out in that region with the United States and Russia and Syria. And now we got to worry about China's in the region as well. So again, guys, just a heads up. Later.